Because I literally had these.
Gotcha.
Okay, we live, we live, we live.
Happy Motivational Monday, everyone. It is me um, and my husband, Lorraine Benton. So I know that originally I was going to speak on being unbreakable. Actually, I had a part one and a part two. It was pretty thorough. But it's Motivation Monday, and my husband really motivates me. So, I mean, he just, even though he say we, um, he just did something phenomenal today. And as a wife, I'm so very excited for him. I know he says it's for us, but I'm so excited for him because to me, Lorray is the epitome of sacrifice. He's the epitome of, getting it done, working till it's done. So I figure, what better day, and what better way to show my husband that I'm so proud of you, and and any words that you have, and just kind of to tell people your story about how you got here.
Mm,
So I could give you an introduction.
okay.
Okay, so my guest tonight is Leray Jarmaine Benton. He hails from Savannah, Georgia, the proud son of Leroy and Georgia Benton. He went to undergrad at Wofford College. He is a proud member of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated.
Yeah.
He got his master's degree, where he had his degree in nuclear physics
Mm-hmm.
undergrad, and then he went on and got his master's degree from North Carolina A&T.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and God just blessed him in 2016 to meet me,
Amen. Amen.
and he's a proud husband of an amazing wife. So, Ray, can you just, I guess, just talk to everybody about you, how you got here, just your travels, what motivates you. Um,
All right. Well, um, good afternoon, everybody. Um, and thank you for my beautiful wife for having me on her show. I appreciate that. But no, like life's been a journey. Um, when you as a when you start out along just in life period, like when you're young, you have young and you have all these aspirations. But no one ever teaches you what to expect when life happens. You know what I mean? And as a man, and especially as a father, um, when life happens, you know, you have those moments whereas sometimes people are going to be rooting for you and motivating you, but sometimes when life happens, you have those moments where the only person you can count on to motivate you is yourself. And the two major events where I really had to just motivate myself. Actually, three major events was just one. Uh, when my first son Don Jonathan, when he passed, just had to motivate myself to just keep going. That happened when I was in grad school, finishing up my thesis and everything else. Um, you know, the third one, the second one came when I left the federal government. When I left the federal government in 2012, and just went in a different direction with just finishing up my PhD and everything else. Sometimes when you go from making 100K salary and all of that to really being a college student again. And then 2.5 years later, I had my son Robert. And life is different when you got somebody else dependent on and so when you know that someone else is dependent on you, and you are responsible, like you are responsible for someone else, whether it's in that case, it was my kid. But then when I married my bride in 2018, I picked up three more people that I said, I got you, you know. And it's just another level of a commitment. So I mean, just in general, the one thing that really always just drive me is honestly making sure my family is okay, making sure my family is okay, and taking care of not only at the end of the day, but whenever God calls me home, like everybody in my boat, they gonna be okay. So that's me.
Okay. So, what made you change directions?
You know what? When God opened up the door, sometimes you guys just walk through it. Like people ask me all the time, like what made me become a nuclear physicist. Like and the honest answer is God opened up a door. He presented an opportunity, and I took a leap of faith. I walked through it. Same thing. With just real estate development. Closed a good deal today, and it wasn't an easy process. It wasn't a short process. But again, when God connect you with the right people and you act out and step out on faith, and just be a be obedient, like just like the story of Nehemiah, God always get provide you provision along the way, as long as you being obedient, and obedience ain't easy. It's not,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? But yeah, so that's really where where I'm at in my focus is just just I really work on and try to be obedient to God's purpose, not mine. And but you know, no one, I never really want to go sometimes go through the process and the reproof, but that's part of the journey.
I wanted to jump in here, and honestly share that, um, watching Lorray for the past 4 years, that he motivates me. Now, I hear all of his accolades, I'm aware, but to me, he's my husband, and so many times, I mean, we've had to compromise. We've
Yeah,
had to compromise because, you know, some days he's sleeping like maybe 2 hours. He go to bed late, he'll come to bed. Um, he'll come to bed about 2 or 3, and he's back up at 5. Um,
yeah.
and I gave him a hard time. I mean,
You still do.
yes, because the world see you as a product, but you're my husband. And I get and I under but the thing is I understand your purpose, the purpose that God has given you. Um, but at the same time, you know, so kind of that team a little bit, sometimes he won't call that time out for himself. In the middle of it, so here we gonna share a little bit. Ray had to switch teams. He had to get some folks off the team,
Yeah.
you know. Um, and so, it's like God is the master of rewrites, and it wasn't easy. Um, it's very strategic. And I commend them. But one thing we did do, one thing I am really happy to say is we compromised. So we tried to have one meal a day together. We do Bible study on Tuesday night, marriage prayer call on Wednesday, and every night he came and we pray together before we go to bed. Um, and because I still had to let him be who he was. Um,
Yeah.
I
And that
still had to let him be who he I had to let him be who he is. And I didn't see the whole vision, and it wasn't my place to see it. Um, but for me, I at first had a selfish stance because I'm like, that's my husband. I just that was just my husband. And I had to make sure emotionally, mentally, that he was okay. But could you, Lorraine, tell people like when you realized you had to change up your team? How was that?
ah, you know what? Like, I just remember praying to God, because how you have that gut feeling that your intuition kick in. You pray to God, and when God give you discernment about something, and in this particular case, He gave me discernment about it. I was like, yeah, I know, but
Mm.
and honestly, I got slapped in the mouth. You know what I mean? Like, yo, I didn't heed to, what my spirit was telling me. I didn't heed to, the discernment and warnings that God gave me. And eventually, I got slapped in the mouth. But and from me being disobedient on that one, which was a much smaller deal than the one we did today, um, I learned, and honestly, I had to in the middle of everything, literally out of a team about 10 folks, just strap everybody, and just retool, um, and just I had to shed my weight because I had to realize that, for one, you know, the vision that God gave me is for me. And before, I was trying to, convince others to come along with my vision and what my vision was. And, I tried to bring other people along with me in my vision who wasn't supposed to be there. But you don't know that, you don't realize that until really until God just decides to um allow just allow the devil to wake you up,
Mm.
and that's the one thing I had to realize is that, okay, like, if it happened, God allowed it for a reason. You know what I mean? But looking back at it, is the best decision I could have ever made.
Mm-hmm.
Because and going forward. You know, I no longer have to look over my shoulder. Wondering where what my partners are doing and not doing. You know what I mean? I got team members at the table to whereas where I was really carrying the load, doing a lot of things myself. I don't necessarily have to do that because I got a trustworthy team, trustworthy partners, and everything in place. And so yeah, it just forced me to understand more, just in following, just the story of Nehemiah. I guess that's one of my favorite Bible stories. It's just that I have to make sure I am in tune and that I just follow and just God's direction and just be obedient. No matter whether I agree with it or not. And that's where I had to grow at.
Okay, so here's my next question. So in reassembling this team,
Hmm.
because I know, probably know some of it, but um, coming out of, as you said, dropping the whole team and reassembling another one, what changed? What, was it something? What was different? Was your conversation different with the people? Of course, your perspective changed.
Hmm.
Um, but how was just that piece, and how were your conversations? Because most people, when they get hit in a mouth, as you say, they sit back and they're kind of stunned for a long time,
Hmm.
and then they question their purpose,
Hmm.
or they take it as the wrong sign.
Yeah. No. Well, with me, pretty much with me, to be honest with you, I got very direct, like very. You know what I mean? Because like I know the vision that God has given me. And whereas before, I would compromise what I know God told me to help appease someone else, because I'm worried about their thoughts, their feelings, like, honestly, I like it. I got very direct. I mean, you've heard some of my conversations. And at the end of the day, it just made me realize that okay, if God chose me to lead, I gotta lead. And either those that are supposed to be with me, either they are going to follow and assist in the vision, or they're not. And if they're not, that's okay too, because this train's still gonna move forward.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, I just had to stay faithful, not only in myself, but um, I just had to stay faithful that okay, it don't feel good right now. Like we made some sacrifices. All across the board. We made some sacrifices, but at the
That's why I'm getting an alpaca
same,
and an ostrich. So
yep, ostrich too.
an ostrich, thank you, sir.
um,
Um,
yeah, after this you might get an island.
oh, hey, I could do an
But
island.
yeah, but no, but honestly, it's like in retooling, you really have to make the decision to move forward, um, and just believe in your dream. You have to believe in your dream more than you believe in your fears.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where a lot of people go wrong is is people are afraid to succeed, right? Because they allow their fears to lead them as opposed to their dreams.
One thing I want to just jump in here. Um, of course, I know because I've been around for years, but it's even during this process. Um, you seen the real life devil trying to throw you off your mark, you know, and you have to know, as Tawana would say, in your Noah, that you're not who or what people say you are.
Mm-hmm.
um and I think that's one thing that I had to remind myself, and I try to remind clients: sticks and stones may break my bones, and it may seem very you know immature and childish, but you know it's like, if this don't work, they're going to try something else. They're going to threaten you in every area of your life to try to force you to do, how they say, they got those tactics: fog, fear, obligation, guilt.
Mm-hmm.
And just, because I'm pretty sure your 10 business partners, they tried fear, they tried obligation, and they tried guilt. But we were
All
here.
all of
Like,
that.
we were here, and, sometimes a lot of, especially in business, we're talking about business and living, because we each have our own dream, we each have our own passion, we each have our own purpose. And living that, you have to be able to, you know, you have to be able to move on.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be able to pivot. And I think people are afraid to pivot. It's like, we can still be friends, we just can't do business together.
Yeah, and that's cool.
Or like
And
Ray
that's
told
cool.
me, real talk. Lorraine told me, you're the first person that I haven't had sign a non-disclosure agreement.
Hey,
And I
listen,
was thinking,
business is business.
I was shocked. I was like, ugh. But you know, I don't know.
Listen, like,
I don't know if
look.
I would have signed one because he didn't ask me to. But the business piece of it is, because it took us, we were together 2.5 years before we got married, that I had to respect his business practices, regardless of where he was the night before, whose bed I woke up in, or his, or whose bed he woke up in. I still, I have always respected his business, his policies, his procedures, his, dang sure, his privacy. Um, because that's his. And just as he respects mine. So, um, so what would you tell anyone um about following their dreams, about not being afraid, but this is one thing I do want to say. I'm going to say it. When we talk about manifesting, when I first my first time ever visiting Luray, I flew up from Atlanta. And we would talk, of course we talked. He always was in Atlanta. So I flew up here, and I promise you, in his living room, the entire like main wall in his living room had blueprints posted in the living room. It had Bible verses. I'm telling you, I was hustling when he went to work. I was reading what was on the papers, but it had Bible scriptures, that Nehemiah. It was everywhere. And that's the thing, so he put it up as a reminder to himself. Like, behind the flat screen. I mean, this wasn't on some wall that wasn't. This was behind the
Yeah,
TV.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and
That's
and
yeah. That,
and
that
for
that was at the
me,
batchy pad. I was at the batchy pad, and I had, I had my info up. But nah, like, you know what? You gotta, you again, you got to be your greatest motivator. You know what I mean? And honestly, like the Bible verses that I had posted, and some of which I still do, like, when you come across the Bible verse, or a daily Bible study or something like that, you come across something um, that that motivates you, like, document it, print it out, keep it, put it in your notebook. But just me, I just print it out and stick it on my wall. You know what I mean? And because sometimes it's easy for me after a long day to walk in and just honestly remind myself, one, where God has already brought me from,
Mm-hmm.
but then two, just remind myself what God has already what already has already said shall be.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And like, a lot of times, in business and in our dreams, like, you want your dream to come true, but then you don't want to ruffle no feathers. You know what I mean? Or you want the dreams to come true, but you want to keep your friends in your same circle. You know what I mean? And the truth is, like just like everybody, all your friends and family, everyone is not going to walk into the kingdom of heaven. They're not. Your dreams are the exact same way. Everybody is not going to share the journey and the joy of your dream, and when you reach your goal, they're not. They're not supposed to. You know what I mean? I mean, it's a purge process, and if you really are a child of God, if you are really following the principles and mastering your particular arena in life, whatever it is, right? Because that's the one thing. Like people, they want a dream, they want a business, but at the same time, you hadn't done all the homework and everything that's really
Right.
required
That
to be
piece.
successful,
That piece.
in that avenue. You know what I mean? And you got to do the work. You got to do the work, because if you don't, all right, what have it when God blesses you with it, you're not going to manage it properly. You know what I mean? And so even though you may be in a position to receive a blessing, right? You also gotta have the capacity to manage it. And that's the part that I think that people overlook, is just the preparation part.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, and the deal where I had to scratch my whole team. That process taught me a lot, and it prepared me to be in a position to receive and manage. The deal we successfully closed on today, which is multiple of that one. So, like you have to know and understand, like, when, like it ain't gonna be easy, but it's a lesson in everything. But you have to be a student of your craft. You have to be. you
And you
know
have to do the work. One thing I'll share is, Lorraine motivates me. I'm telling you. I'll be like, I'm out. It's 8 o'clock. I'm going to bed. Right. I mean, I literally, because at that time when we first met, my dream wasn't like, it wasn't really my passion. It was a passion, but it wasn't fueled the way it should have been. You know, but in everything, and sometimes it's not about hiring people. Lorray does his own blueprints. Oh my gosh. And y'all think y'all see my laptop? I swear to God, if you look at his laptop right now, he got about 30 tabs open.
Yeah, that's true.
He has like 30 tabs open. So he does his blueprints, um,
Budgets,
his budgets. Now he'll
research.
send them over. He'd be like, hey, so what do you think? Or I went to a couple of meetings, but sometimes we think we have to have this whole team, and we don't. That's
Nope.
why. So when he said do the research, and like empower yourself, because now even though he has engineers, architects, everybody's like clamoring for him. They're so surprised when he could talk from A to Z, and that's what I like for me as a life coach. Whatever you're doing, give it 100% because it's yours.
Mm-hmm.
It's yours. You can have people along, you can have people on your team, but ultimately you're responsible. And we can't say, oh, I don't have access to this. Like you try, and then when you do what you can, God will bless what you can't.
Yeah. Don't make no excuse.
God will
Like,
definitely bless what you can't.
like it's honestly it's no in this day and age with the internet and everything, it's no excuse. Like anything you really want to know, you can Google it, you can find it. Like anything. I mean, and it's like knowledge. They always say. I mean, and the saying is true. Like you want to hide something from somebody, put it in a book, right? I mean, but it is true. And right now, the book is really the internet. Like it's plenty of stuff on at people's fingertips, but they too lazy to do the work to go find it.
To do the work. Right.
You want somebody to just tell you the answer. But then somebody can tell you whatever they want you to know. Somebody can tell you wrong to purposely redirect you to even steal your idea. That's why I like, yeah, I can talk to lawyers and like shit. I do my own legal documents. I have lawyers review it, but I'm like, nah, I ain't paying all them legal fees. Nah, I'll do the groundwork myself, and then yeah, there you go. You just sign your name on the clean up. But it's like you have to know the details, not only of your business. You got to know the details of your life. You know what I mean? You got to know the details of your family. Because just I know when I'm pushing the envelope with Nancy and when I'm not. I know. You know what I mean? But when I know I'm gonna push the envelope, I honestly I have to tell her. I'm like, listen, it's gonna be a long night. I'm gonna be up. You know what I mean? So I'll purposely cut my work night short, just so I could, spend some quality time and be a husband and a father,
Right.
and then when I put the wife and the kids to bed, I go back to work to do what I gotta do.
Right.
But you gotta want to be successful.
In all areas.
Yeah.
In its balance. But that's a whole nother subject.
That's
Um,
all. Yeah.
that's balance. Because when he say, wife shows up, like we out of balance, you know, um, and I'm grateful that he listened. So of course everybody don't have a wife, everybody don't have a husband, everybody don't have kids, but surround yourself with people that will tell you the truth, that will say, hey, you need to take a break. Hey, hey, what was going on that business call? Because you weren't focused. You don't need yes people all the time.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
Because if you have a whole group of yes people, then you sometimes you may think you're firing on all cylinders and you're really not. And it can cost you something else.
Yeah, yeah. That's very true. Like if you look at it all, if you look at any CEO of very successful companies, they don't hire people to tell them yes. They hire people to tell them to tell them what's wrong and how to fix it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's the people. That's the people that I surround myself with, and I tell my.
We can't see your face, husband.
I'm sorry, I had to plug up my phone.
Oh, okay.
I had to, but I used to tell. I tell all of my, all of my business partners all the time. I was like, listen, Be direct with me. Tell me the truth. Don't sugarcoat nothing with me, cause I ain't gonna sugarcoat nothing with you. So yeah, at times, yeah, we might be yelling at the top of our voice, cause I'm like, damn, you talking over me. I'm gonna talk back over you, right? You know what I mean? But when you make it plain and you just tell people how to handle you, but at the same time be respectful and understand that, okay, if you're asking them to handle you one way, you have to know that they also are going to, it goes both ways. So hey, when somebody get out of bounds, you can't take it personal, especially if you go out of bounds yourself. So
And
hey,
there's room. Um, there's there's room at the table for everybody. Um, and you have to not be afraid to take the risk in whatever it is.
yeah,
You can't, because scared money don't make money. Um, but you have to be willing to take the risk. So in
yeah, but
whatever
but,
in,
but
in in whatever whatever area of your life, we already know where we need to improve.
yeah,
So don't be afraid to ask for help.
yeah, yeah. And baby, you know what? It's room at the table for everybody, but everybody ain't meant to be at the table. So it's okay. Like it's okay if you got empty seats at the table. It's okay. You know what I mean? Because everybody ain't meant to be sitting down breaking bread with you at the same time, right? Because if you got a table full of folks, when the right person is supposed to show up, and when the right person is supposed to be in your life, they're not gonna have a seat.
Okay, let me correct myself then. Everybody, I think there's room in the world for everybody to succeed,
I
and
agree.
they're given talents, purpose, or gift. That's what I was saying. So no,
I
everybody
agree.
wasn't at your table,
I agree. I'm sorry.
but
Yeah.
but I'm just saying, sometimes, even though it's two different fields or two different areas of specialty, people don't want to support because they think it's going to take $1 out of their pocket if you get it. And
Yeah.
that's not how, you know the law of attraction, of giving and receiving, that's not how that works.
Agreed.
So that was just my piece. And maybe sometimes when you celebrate others, or when you support others, God will in turn do more for you,
Mm-hmm.
because you're not sitting there with a closed fist. um and then have a vision bigger. um that's one thing. In talking with Ray, one thing that has never changed was the opportunity he wanted to give the Black community.
Yeah.
you know um and to stay in the course, just stay in the course and never wavering, um on the vision,
Mm-hmm.
that he had for himself. So not just himself, but his projects. And I told him, I said, like, you're going to bridge America. Remember I told you that?
Yeah.
I said, you're going, like, he's literally going to bridge America. You know, so that was it, husband. Thank you so much. Really, 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 really proud. Um, I know I can say, because I know Ray will tell you guys, if you guys just want to talk to him, pick his brain about anything, um, he's available. Um, because he wants everyone to win, and especially those closest to us.
Mm-hmm. That's real. Like, if I can, if I can pass whatever knowledge, experience, whatever anything that God has bestowed upon me, you know, I don't mind sharing with you. I don't mind sharing what I have. And now I'm gonna be straight with you. I'm gonna be direct. Let everybody know I ain't gonna. I'm gonna try to be tactful, but I ain't gonna sugarcoat it. If I think something's BS, I'm gonna call BS. If I think you need to pivot, I'm gonna suggest it. But but I'm just like I can't help someone by not being honest. You know what I mean? I'm not your friend. I'm not your brother. I'm not your cousin. If I don't just be straight with you and say what's honest. You know.
Okay. So we're about to wrap this up. So can you give, because you're number four, in your fraternity on your line, four key points, like four takeaways to like master your purpose, or to just go after it, like four key points that you think like this is what you have to do.
Okay. Well, one, like you always say, write it down, make it plain. You
Habit
gotta have
two.
a plan. You gotta have a written plan, and you have to check that plan daily. To make sure that you are working towards your goal, right? Because you have your plan, but then you always got to have your short term goal to meet your long term goal. But it all starts with you can have a vision, but you got to write it down. So you turn that vision into a business plan, and execute it. Secondly, um, where you can't do right, or you don't have or you don't have certain tools, ideas that's required to complete your plan. Like, yo, like, don't be afraid to share your vision with the right people and seek help and assistance.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And obviously, if you can't pay for the help, all right, listen. You just have someone direct you as to where you can find it and look it up and master it yourself. So don't be afraid to ask for help and to seek for help. Third, like, yo, follow your gut, follow your spirit. You know what I mean? Like, when something don't feel right, right? And whatever that first thought is in your mind, that's God talking. Right? Like the devil will always try to contradict what God says. So when you start second guessing yourself, that's not God. That's not your given purpose. It's not. And lastly is just is real simple. Lastly, yo, trust yourself and trust your decisions. Like when you make a decision to move forward, like, yo, bet on yourself. If you succeed at what you're doing, yo, you succeed on your own terms because you made that decision. If something wrong, or something fails, or it doesn't quite work out the way you want it, that's fine. You can live with that because you made the decision.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? But don't put your success in the hands of someone else, right? If you have the ability to control it. Because, hey, I can look at myself every day, and rather it's a good day or a bad day. I can look at myself every day and live with the decision that I made, and live with everything that has happened because I made it. I was in control of it. I made the conscious decision to follow through, and I can live with that. Like, I can live with me losing me money, right? Better. I can live with somebody else losing me money. That's what it is. You know what I mean? So, but yeah. So that would be my four.
Okay. So my now mine are real quick. Um, Keep God first. Um, Always keep God first. Number two, don't be afraid of the rewrite or redirect or to pivot.
Hmm.
Um, it's okay to not know everything right now,
That's facts.
and because people will respect you. I know, Lorraine said, I forgot where I was going with that, but, people respect you, will respect you. Okay. He talked about more business. With me, people will respect you if you say you don't know.
Hmm.
And I remember one sermon that we listened to is just as like a litmus test. Yes or no, God will never put a time constraint on a decision.
Yup.
That's what Pastor John K. Jenkins, First Baptist Church of Glenarden.
Yup.
Look, let me tell you, that was one CD that was in Lorraine's
It's still in my car.
CD player. I I took it
God.
out once. Y'all know when we did our engagement soundtrack. Yeah. But and that's one thing when sometimes where we feel like we're pressed against the wall.
Hmm.
And then it's like certain things you need to know. Like God will never say, you need to make a decision right now.
Yep. God is the God of
And
time.
then even if that situation came up, so you already know it's not God, people will respect you if you say, hey, can you give me an hour to think about this so I can make the best decision? Because you don't want to, or just tell them, hey, I need a moment. Because the minute you spit out, because you don't want to say I don't know, and you put out the wrong information, then it really discredits you. So I just think it's okay to say I don't know. I don't know right now. Can I take a moment? But that's just me. Because in anything, even in as a life coach, I got to tell people, you don't have to, you like you say, you're in control. And the minute someone have you, or you feel that you have to make a decision, you're no longer in control of that situation.
Yep.
So this is about, I can live with my decision. Let me make the decision. And just make sure, like, I think that's just about it. I think that's just about it. That was my takeaway. Husband, I'm very, 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 very proud. Um, I see some people putting stuff in here. Okay. Set the plan, work the plan, live the. Oh, I like that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really like that one. Hey, you might see it again. I'll give you credit once I find out who really wrote it. Um, but I thank you. I thank everyone for tuning in. Lorraine, I thank you for being honest. I know you just walked in the door, but I'm like, my husband is my motivation today. Like you did good, kid. Okay, you did good, kid, and
I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
like your hard work paid off, and I told you, I admire you.
Yeah. And like I
You know,
told you, like I wouldn't be able to do what I do without you having my back. So thank you.
you're welcome.
So and I love you.
Oh, that was Alvin.
Ah, Alvin. Ah, okay, okay, okay.
That's cool. Thank you. But thank you all for joining. We're gonna one day, y'all stay tuned for our big celebration. Um, don't be thrown off by the ostrich and the alpaca. And Megan's gonna bring her llama. No, but and when you remain humble, God blesses you.
No, he does.
So thank you so much, husband. Thank you so much, husband. Thank you all so much. Normally we don't stay on this long, but it's all about you. And I just want the world like you, because you made your own blueprint for this, you know, and you had to pivot and look at it. Like look at God being God. Like that's the thing. God said it. And how many years later? Tell him how many years later, husband.
Mm. Started in 5 years.
So
5 years. It's like it's been 5 years since I had to reset and retool. But like I could not, the way that God has blessed and just the people that He's aligned me with. Yeah, I'm in a much better position. I'm less stressed. Yeah, work is still stressful, but I'm less stressful, and the timing is right. Like this is my time, and I'm comfortable, and I know that.
amen.
So
Okay. All right. Well, you guys, we're about to get off
mm,
of this live because I gotta go celebrate my husband. This wife gotta go celebrate her husband. So we gonna keep it real. Hey, as Ray say, it's ordained. But thank you all for supporting us. Thank you guys for loving us. Thank you all for praying for us because we know this is not just us. You know, this we know it's God, but God puts great people around us, and you guys have to look for the great people that's around you to continue to uplift,
mhm,
mentor,
mhm.
support, and to pour into you. So y'all have an awesome Monday night, and I'll be back next week. All right, take care.
All
Bye,
right,
husbands.
bye, you, baby.
Love you too.